In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to turn $10,000 into monthly passive income. I'm talking step by step, exactly how my student turned $10,000 to $25,000 in less than 30 days. That's 15K in profits, guys, with one simple methodology. Let's get into it. Well, the first thing you need to realize is you got to think about your capital differently. Okay, so let's say you had $10,000 working, okay, and that $10,000 is your starting point. Okay, you got to look at it like a bank, okay, not like an investor trying to grow your money or like a gambler or a speculator. That's the mistake most people make. You need to turn your cash like a bank into an asset. So you need to do something. You need to lend it out. That's exactly how the banks make money, and that's exactly how you're going to make money as well. Okay, you're going to lend it out with one small caveat. You see, the bank makes their money by lending out to investors, businesses, entrepreneurs, and that's kind of risky. Okay, you're not in the banking game, and I don't want you to begin. What you need is a place where you can put your money safely, that gives you maximum liquidity and allows you to multiply your money. This is where options comes in. So what I'm going to do is teach you guys all about options, okay? So all about options. So this is where options come in, because I always say options give you options. So what you want to do is very simple. Instead of lending out your money to an institution or a bank or a business, you want to lend it out to yourself. And the way you do this is very easy. It's in 3 simple steps. Step number 1, you put your money in a brokerage, okay? So let's call this brokerage Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade. And guys, if my spelling is wrong, that's okay, okay? Don't slap me in the comments. But you want to put it in the brokerage. That is step 1 and very crucial. Not a bank account, not in a high yield savings account, not in a 401k market. You want to put it in a brokerage. Why? Because brokerage is where it's going to multiply you the money the most and give you the best returns. I'm going to do a comparison in a second between putting your money, that $10,000 in real estate, putting that $10,000 in a money savings account, or putting that $10,000 in a high yield savings account, so you can kind of see the difference in the cash flow and the optionality. But that's step number 1. You put it in the brokerage. Then step number 2, you rent it out by selling options on it. Okay. When I learned this, the game changed for me, because I went from somebody who was trying to make money through appreciation, and I started making money from probability. And let me tell you, twice every day and 4 times on Sunday, you will make more money on probability than you will on appreciation. Why is that? Because that's how casinos work. The reason casinos and insurance companies, they also work on probability, make so much money is because they're not betting on outcomes. They're betting on probability. And if more times out of not, the probability works in their favor, they're going to take that deal. That's how they determine whether to insure you or not. That's how they determine what your insurance rate is going to be, etc. You need to have the same mindset, but we can do it on a smaller scale. So you don't need to start an insurance company. You can start a mini brokerage by selling your own money. So you put that 10 grand in a brokerage, you sell options on it, and you collect 1% to 2% on your money every single week. So what that would look like is that if I had $10,000 every single week, I'm going to be making about $100 to $200 a week in cash flow. This is the biggest difference. This is all cash. You're not dealing with tenants. You're not dealing with toilets. You're not dealing with anybody crazy. You're putting your money in a brokerage. You're selling options on it. You're getting 1 to 2% on your cash, and then you're making 1 to 2% on your original capital. When you do this, the original capital stays safe. So this stays safe, and it's still generating you cash income, okay? Why is this so powerful? Because in the past, there had to be a middleman for you to turn money into more money. Banks do it by issuing debt. Investors do it, some by buying real estate. Some do it by putting the money in some type of investment vehicle. Now your cash itself can be the asset, and you can make more money on your money than you can ever make on your labor. And you want to do this very quickly, because I'm going to say that again. You can make more money on your money than you can ever make on your labor. So it's very important that you master this, because one day when the market goes to crap, when real estate goes to trash, when high yield savings account go to trash, when banks stop paying 2, 3, 4% on your money, you need a way to multiply your cash that is low risk, stress free, and takes literally 10 minutes a week to execute. Okay, so this method I call the on-call babysitter method. Okay, because what you're doing is that you're putting your money on call, and no matter what happens, just like a babysitter on call, whether she babysits or not, she gets paid cash. Now, what that looks like over a month is that you start making somewhere between $400 and $800 a month on 10 grand. That's better than real estate. That's better than high yield savings account. There's nothing that will give you that type of returns with little risk and being passive. So if I had to turn $10,000 a month income, this is where I will start. I would turn that 10 grand into 800, and that's almost the same as owning 3 houses. Okay? Because if you go out and buy a house, let's say your down payment is 10 grand. First of all, that's unlikely, okay? I bought a house in Ohio in the Midwest for $87,000. My cash to close on a 10% down payment was $23,500. So the down payment was $13,000 and change. With all the closing costs and fees, it ended up being about 23 grand for me to close that property. And 23 grand, after all was said and done, okay, at the current interest rate right now of 6%, that property made me about $200 a month in Ohio. So some of you guys are going to say, oh, appreciation. Guys, this was in the Midwest in Ohio. Appreciation is not the play there. It's cash flow. And for a place that's supposed to be strong in cash flow, for me to only be making $200 a month after all expenses and property management, that is trash, okay? Even if you get it to $300 a month, if you're lucky, with your cash, okay, you're going to make double this amount. Because remember, I had to put $23K to close. With $10K, I'm making $400 to $800 a month. If I had that same $23K, I'll be making somewhere between $900 and $1,800 a month in cash flow. This is the difference between real estate and renting out your cash. If you put in the high yield savings account, you're going to make this a year. So $400 a year is about $40 a month. So you choose where do you want to be, okay? If you learn to rent out your cash like this, guys, the game changes for you. And the more cash you have, the more cash flow you produce. This is relatively safe because remember, we're operating on probabilities. Now, I could do a longer video explaining the probabilities of this, but that's going to get too deep in the weeds. If you want me to do that, just comment the word probability below. In the meantime, guys, I have 2 things for you. There's a free masterclass I do once in a while. If I'm holding that, check that link in the bio. Number 2, I actually broke down the on-call babysitter method in a course I created for you guys for $27. You can watch it literally in an hour, go through it, and that's found this price. I will be raising the price to that. Check the link in the description if you're interested. If any question popped up about this, let me know in the comments and I'll go over it for you step by step. Chat soon.